I would. There's some folks that I would kill to see again, specifically Major Geiger. I think I'd give an arm and a leg to see that dude again.
Oh, wait! Don't. I don't want you to have to do 2A. It's Lieutenant Colonel Geiger now.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I don't want you to have to add on more push-ups to that. But yes.
When did he? Oh, that's right. He got frocked, right?
Frocked?
It's like a promotion. You're not actually getting promoted, but because you're going to go fill a billet of a higher rank, you get to pin that rank early.
Oh, okay, yeah. I don't know if it was a frock, but yeah, I mean, on his like legal stuff or on, like if you look him up online, yeah, he's Lieutenant Colonel, and he did say that he got selected for it when I had him on the show in 2024. So.
Okay.
Or 2020, yeah.
Yeah, and he might have been like officially promoted too. I don't know why. I remember seeing him post something on maybe Facebook about getting frocked.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, yeah, dude, that's awesome. I can't think of I genuinely can't think of a better officer that I've served under or that I've even worked with now that I work with a lot of like field grade officers. Like I don't want to say my peer group, but basically my peer group in Saudi Arabia is like Army majors and Army lieutenant colonels are who I work with the most. And there's a couple like 06s over there. Like I've worked with a lot of officers now. He is still to this day either that I've worked under or worked with probably one of the single best officers in any branch. Like I can't think of a guy more deserving to pick up rank and responsibility.
So to add to that, I mean, I do like to pick up on serious topics every now and then, but if you want to praise him, go ahead. But like, what specifically made him a great officer? For anyone listening, take some notes here. Observe.
Yeah, there are a few things, right? The number one, especially when we were working for him back when he was the company commander. I mean, just a care for the troops, right? I can't think of an officer that. Obviously, he's got his duties. He's got the mission that he's got to accomplish. But right behind taking care of that mission was always taking care of the boys. It was anytime he spoke to me or anytime I saw him spoke to any of the other enlisted Marines, it was always genuine. It was always kind. It was always respectful. It was never, hey, I expect you to look at me a certain way just because I wear a rank. Like he carried himself in such a way that you wanted to respect him, right? Even when Chitty got busted up with that hydro flask, right? When he came into the berthing after that, right? It would have been real easy to just fucking shit down all of our necks because all the dudes wanted to kill that kid, right?
Yeah.
I know we got the company probably in a good bit of trouble with the ship, but the first thing he does when he comes in, he's like, hey, where's Chitty? Is he okay? Like, that's the first thing out of his mouth when he walked into the berthing was making sure his Marines were all right, making sure guys were taken care of, making sure just everything was good with the boys, and then cracking jokes with us instead of jumping down our throats, right?
Yeah.
So, little shit like that you don't think about. But also, like, this dude, he has a wider sense of awareness, I think is how I would put it, right? Because he understands when he says things and when he does things, not in the corny sense, but he understands its impact and its visuals are larger than himself, right? As a company commander, he knows that like when he was talking to us, he was a reflection of the battalion commander, he was a reflection of the other companies, a reflection of the Marine Corps as a whole. And even now as like a higher level field grade officer, I'm sure he's the same way, dude. Like when he talks, he understands that he's not just unfortunately for him, right? Or maybe fortunately, depending on how he feels about it, but he's no longer just an individual, right? Like he represents something a lot bigger. And you see that when he talks to people, you see that when he comes and does public appearances, like coming on the podcast and stuff. Like he thinks about how his actions are going to affect everything around him, not just doing.
That's probably the best articulation, I think, specifically of him, but also I think is something that a lot of people should consider because I now that you bring it up like that, I think what you would call that is so like having it is a good ability, but you could say maybe it's like being a good statesman or being like a diplomat, like
Very
almost
much
like the way that a good politician understand or like a good ambassador understands that when they're speaking to the public or to certain people, it's like they know that's going to be interpreted or it's going to be brought to other people. Like it's not nothing's an individual. I am spitting all over everything right now. I'm going to make a terrible officer. Jesus Christ. I'm going to be spitting on I'm going to ask them if they're okay. I'm going to be asking my Lance Corporal. It's like, you have a massive black eye after that Hydro Flask. Are you doing okay? And then I just spit a lube right into the eyelid.
We go for it.
But to add to it, it's like they understand that nothing that they say is an individual conversation. Nothing is off the record. I think would be a way of putting it.
100%. And that's that's an immense amount of responsibility. When you really think about it. And I didn't think about it that way until I got this job and I started working with like a partner nation. And when the first time they referred to me as the American or an American, right? You're like, I am not TJ Lisovich to them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I am an extension of the United States government, and therefore the things I say and do with these people reflect on the U.S. in a certain way. And and that harkened me back to thinking of people like Major Geiger, people like my platoon commander, Lieutenant Allen, and like some of the other field grade and junior officers that I had throughout the Marine Corps, and like understanding why that role as a commissioned officer is kind of special, especially when you start being more public facing or working with partner nations and things like that. And now, especially now that I'm working with field grade officers all the time in Saudi, like that's a lot of responsibility for someone to undertake in their day-to-day life, and realizing that their professional interactions carry that kind of weight.
Yeah, because in a lot of ways, it's like, I think the initial impression, the way I view it is, you almost feel like, you can't really make a mistake or, I think where people might get to go wrong with it is, okay, I have to put on a face or, I have to put on an image because you almost feel like you have a security camera on you at all times, like the way that we framed it that way. So you feel like if you slip up or if you act too authentic or to yourself, then, it shows negatively. And it's weird now that I think of it, because I still don't think it's the do all end all of like being an officer or being a Marine, but you hear all the time the professionalism, harping on being a professional when we're in. And I think this is the way that we harp why it is important when, to understand its use and its place.
100%. And I think that is what is so impressive to me about Lieutenant Colonel Geiger is he is authentic. Like he is very much himself. He's his own dude. He's got a very unique personality. He's got a bunch of super cool interests, like all the big game hunting and stuff that he does. Like he's got a lot of cool stuff, and he finds a way to be himself, but also still have that, like you put it, that stately quality about him, right? Like, yeah, it's super cool to see how he balances those two pieces. So,
yeah. It's funny when you say him being authentic. Like, obviously, I think if you can incorporate that and still use it, that's good. But I think of people like me or like Chitty or maybe I don't think Bethea's a bad guy, but maybe Lichty. Yeah, like Lichty. I think I don't know if we should be authentic. I don't know if being authentic is for everybody.
And it's finding the balance, right? But like you said, you can't put on a mask every day and go to work pretending to be someone else. Like you got to find the parts of you that you can mesh with that stately side and still be an authentic person and still show those parts of yourselves, even if like the silly, because I'm a goofy dude. Like my very close friends that I've been friends with forever, like they'll tell you I am a very silly, goofy guy, like not stately at all behind closed doors, right? But I find parts of my everyday life and like of my personality that I can pull into that world, right? To be authentic, so I don't have to put on a mask and get exhausted just trying to be someone else every day.
Yeah. It's funny. There was I won't say his name, but if he's listening, I know for a fact he will be thinking of this. But I did have an officer on who or a prior officer, I should say, who like, they're like you can tell he's a lot like us. He's more like us than what we think of, and I just know for a fact it's like he has a lot of moments that aren't like he was a good officer, but like he definitely has a lot of unstately, not exactly like your Mike Tyson ass showing moments, that you would want brought up on TV. But I don't know where I'm going with it, but I guess to add, I guess what I'm trying to say is, even people that like that or who still have that skill under wraps, it's like even they have.
Yeah, dude. Because they're all people.
Nice and ass moments, I guess you'd say.
Yeah, they're all people, and even more so, they're all Marines. Because you got to think, these dudes were attracted to the same branch of service that you were.
I got to cut you off, Lisovich. This bitch outside of my window, I swear to God. That was not a stately comment here. She looks like the eyes are slanted where she looks similar to Chunk from Goonies. I'm the last person who should be making fun of anybody for their looks, but I just had to point that out. I couldn't go to, but let's continue like nothing happened.
I guess what I'm saying is like they're attracted to the same branch of service as you, the same field of work as you, especially infantry officers. Like all these factors are the same. The big difference is this dude's just 4 years older than you. In a lot of cases, right? For like a lieutenant or something, if you're a lance corporal or a corporal, like. The only difference is this guy went to college and you didn't.
Yeah.
But ultimately, probably a pretty similar upbringing, probably a pretty similar background, and probably a lot of the same fucking quirks. You just don't get to see it because your jobs do not allow you to mesh in that way.
Correct. Absolutely. It's funny because when I had Colonel Sieverts and then Lieutenant Colonel Geiger, even though I'm out, I'm still trying to like make sure that I get the right. When I had them on, they brought up the comment of everybody has to act their rank, but if you put a bunch of people from the same rank together, they're all going to act like lance corporals.
Exactly.
I just imagine people like Lieutenant Colonel Geiger or Colonel Sieverts, we look to them, these are people who have decades of experience that are, men among men. And I think, what do they talk about behind closed doors? Do they talk strategy and tactics? Do they talk about politics, or what's going on with the troops? And I just imagine that scene from Wolf of Wall Street where they're trying to where they're trying to book the midget performers, for their business. They're like, okay, well, this one says that he will show his cock out. They're like, no, well, you have to make eye contact with them because you can't make eye contact because it scares them. It's like I just picked that's probably how they talk to each other behind closed doors.
And you know what? It's probably a mix of both, to be honest with you. I think the best ones, it probably is a mix of both because a great example is, and I won't say his name, but when I first got to Saudi Arabia, there were two guys that were really kind of showing me the ropes from the green suiter side, from the army side, and it was a major and it was a chief warrant officer 3. Dude, when we were with the Saudis, it's all business, right? It's like very this, that, strategy, long-term vision, budgets, maintenance, all the business stuff. Dude, we get back to the office and the last Thursday of the month, we'd grill out because Thursday is Friday over there because they do a Friday, Saturday weekend. But last Thursday of the month, we're grilling out at their office on the base. Dude, and it is. It's like I'm a Lance Corporal again, hanging out in the berthing with a bunch of idiots watching anime. We're sitting on the back deck just talking about the stupidest shit, grilling burgers and beef hot dogs in Saudi Arabia, but it is like hanging out with two Lance Corporals once they're behind closed doors, that's exactly what it is.
Oh yeah. Did you